Okay, welcome back to another Minecraft uh, gameplay. This is Pocket Edition. I'm just going to continue on with where I'm at. What's daylight today? That's great. So I get to build this building. Let's take another look above and see what we got to play with here. So what I want to build is just area. Oh, now it's raining. Well, okay. This is kind of what I'm building. It's the sky view portion of this. Like I got a visitor, but I want to build like a moat, a castle, whatever. But anyway, that's kind of the plan as of now. I still have to build around this area here. And so let's continue on and start building. I will have to build this first layer. So this is kind of the first layer. So I can hear the rain. So it's a downpour. I don't know who made that algorithm, but whoever made that is pretty damn good. You just can't make rain like that elsewhere. So I'm just going to finish up this floor. And it's all going to be the same brick, same kind of design. Let's get rid of that. All right. And I just want this floor to be somewhat fancy. So that's why I chose these blocks. Is it Minecraft is just the block game when you're a kid? You are probably too young to remember. But when I was younger, they had these things that are blocks, and you pretty much are doing the same thing as what we're doing here, except it's not digital. Go figure. But I don't know whether this game fulfills my childhood, whatever. But anyway, it's kind of neat. Video games have always been neat. I remember when the first video game came out, the Atari home games. So, or the Commodore 64. I don't think we had Tandy back then because Tandy was a Radio Shack computer back in the day. And I don't know why I keep doing that. But if you know a little bit of history on home computing and computers and gaming, the Commodore 64 was like the go-to at-home computer system. And then they had these floppy disks that you put into a disk drive. It was just really strange. I thought it was so weird. The technology was so just archaic. I couldn't even put my head around how it worked. Um, and I went to computer science. I went to ITT Tech to learn computer engineering and science and stuff like that. And it's all about math and science at this point. But yeah, math is a huge part of electronics. But it's still raining in my world, and I still have to build this roof. But let's keep talking about the computer, the Commodore 64. At first, it was just there were some word processing games with it, not games, but programs where you can like write a letter or something like that, or write a resume or um, some sort of useful functionality to it. And then from there, it kind of stemmed from, and I wish I took it more serious when I was a kid, because I didn't really know what to think of it at first. Because when you're a kid at that age, all you're doing is you're playing outside more than you're at a computer inside. And it didn't have the internet or anything like that, but it was really interesting um, to see it evolve from where it was to where it is now. Because I've seen pretty much everything there is with that. And when I was going to school for ITT Tech, I mean, we were just at the cusp of new search engines like Google, and you got Lycos and um, Net something, Netscape, and that shit was just so weird. I was just like, what is this shit? The websites that they developed with that was just so fucked up, and I thought they were just so strange. Um, but it was cool to see. It's cool to remember back to that because I'm almost done with this. Almost done with the floor plan, so I can build on top of it and make rooms and whatever. Um, so you guys are thinking I'm pretty old, but I'm actually young. I'm very young at heart. I might be a little older than most people watching this, but pretty damn young at heart. Um, I just never saw myself getting old, I guess. Maybe that helps. Now that I am getting older, I still want to do cool things that the kids are doing and whatnot. All right, one, two, and last one. Okay, so that's done. Let's take a look. The dance floor is open. Need the DJ. All right, it quit raining, so that's cool. Oh, maybe not. I'm getting under shelter. So at least we have this built. I think that's kind of cool. So at least we have some cover, some labyrinth sort of looking stuff. Put a little light in the situation. Um, Getting back to the computer discussion, a lot of like Commodore 64. Still want to get back to that discussion because it was just so crazy. We had these games like Frogger. All the arcade games were being emulated on there. Um, let's put that there. No, I don't want that there. I need this here. Like Frogger, Dig Dug, um, Hubert, the Olympic, the Olympic Games were huge with that kind of stuff. We had to get joysticks. We had to get all these peripherals, and I just remember like that stuff just being like everyone would come over too. So this was like a big deal. I mean, people would just come over just to play that. And we're talking like high school people would come over and play these things just nonstop craziness because they didn't have the Commodore. Um, it would just seem like I don't know. It just seemed it worked, but it worked though. That's the thing. It just boggled my mind because the show just worked, and I'm like, how's this fucking shit working? So it kind of got into the computer stuff early on, but never really grasped it like coding and how they coded it and shit like that. I knew there was some kind of like computer stuff that went along with it, but I never really like questioned it, like how the fuck is this working or stuff like that. But and as you get older, you're like, okay, a lot of this shit's gonna be online, and people are gonna get rich off this shit. I want to be part of that. And then you figure out what you want to do with your life and things like that. Um, some of it may work out, some of it may not, but a lot of it is if you know what you're doing with code and stuff like that, it's going to work out for you. If you don't, if you're stuck on, there's so much to learn with code. There's so many code things, but even learning the basics, you got to be a pro. I mean, it all starts with the basics. If you don't know the basics, because it all stems from that initial basic block of code, and if you overlook that, you kind of screw yourself because it all starts from that, like HTML coding and stuff like that. Um, it you got to know what you're doing, otherwise you'll be in trouble. So that's kind of what my experiences with that, and then gradually increased technology to faster computers. I think it was Hewlett Packard was the next step towards computing and um, at-home computers. So I think the Hewlett Packard was the big push for that. Not Commodore, Compaq was another one. And these are just computers that we had at home. My dad would buy those, and I think he was just a geek at heart. Um, I think he wanted to learn more of that stuff too, and it was just so difficult. My dad was always like trying to learn things to earn money online. I think he wanted to find a way to make money online, and he would buy domains. I remember him buying domain names to um, to purchase, and this was back in the early '90s when it was just kind of the .com thing was like the big thing to do. And I just remember like, why would you do that? I mean, how do you make money at this? And he was trying to explain it to me. He's like, well, you build um, a website to direct people to a directory to purchase, um, to either buy something or to, you know, get them to opt in for an email thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it made sense. I was like, okay, this makes sense. But and at the same time, in the back of my mind is like, how many people are using computers to do this? I don't know. I didn't really know back then, but it was interesting, really interesting. So I'm digging a tunnel now. I'm gonna put some light on the situation here so I can see what I'm doing. Uh, but I want to build a tunnel, a little underground labyrinth, if you will, and I probably should make a canopy over this. Yeah, that's what I should do. I wonder if I could do that here. But okay, so getting back into more computer stuff. Um, hold on. All right, so lost my spot here. I was doing two things at once. Sorry about that. Tends to happen with what I'm doing here. So we can make something like this. Yeah, like growing up in the 90s was really interesting because we had this push for technology and everybody was getting it. I didn't even know what a Mac fucking computer was. A Mac. Actually, I did. I take that back. Let's go back to the 80s a minute. We did have Mac computers in the school system. The early 80s when I was I was 13. I must have been like sixth grade, seventh grade. And we did have um, an introduction to computer class. And the teacher was really knowledgeable on it. And I just felt like she was like trying to push everyone towards this technology stuff. So I kind of felt that from her, and it really, I really understood like what she was trying to do, and I wanted to like understand it. I really did, but I didn't, because that was like real code. I mean, real computer coding stuff that we were doing, and all the time I was doing it, I was like, okay, I understand some of this, but I'm like, how is this working? What is the mechanism for this to work? So I was kind of stuck with a learning disability, I guess you would say, because I didn't know like I guess I wanted to know more in depth than what was being presented. Um, I guess it was more of less of how the fuck does this work and how do I fully understand. And I still do it to this day. I still overthink shit and try to make it out to be more complicated than what it is. And computers definitely is that. It is complicated. If you don't keep track of it and stuff like that, you will get lost in the mix. So yeah, I mean, even like website design stuff that I do and those kind of coding stuff. Um, so there you go. Look at that. I got a little canopy, a very heavy fortified canopy, and I want to build a little. I have to build some stairs. Nope, not that way. So keep going this way. But if you guys are in technology or you're thinking about getting into um, computers and that kind of stuff, is definitely follow along what's going on and practice. Just even if it's just some ubiquitous crap that you made up and just keep fucking it up. That's all you can really do is to learn, mess it up, go back, learn again, mess it up, go back, fix it obviously, because that's how you learn code. From my experience, that's pretty much how you learn. So where is this stair? I need there, right there. I'll do that. There it is. So so yeah, if you guys get the opportunity to learn code, you can definitely expand your horizons, expand your earning potential, and that's another issue is finding the right work to do or freelance your services out to somebody. Some of these companies are really shady. They'll try to screw you over. You just got to be careful of that stuff. Um, when you work for somebody else, that is. I've had my fair share. So just kind of, that's why I'm sharing that. So I wonder. Hmm, work here. So now I'm just kind of tightening things up here a bit. Well, at least it's daylight. What is that thing? Wait, what is that? I think I got a goblin here. So, I wonder if I have a weapon. No weapons. So what do I do? Or maybe it won't see me. Okay. So yeah, getting back into coding and stuff. I teach WordPress stuff, so do I know stuff about code and computer science and stuff like that? Yes, I do. Is it a big deal to learn? At first it is, then it becomes your Achilles heel. I think it's really awesome because you can code something almost every day and learn something new, um, which I think is pretty exciting for people that want to learn and be smarter. Because if you're not learning anything in this world or day and age, people are going to think something's wrong with you or whatever. You make your own assumptions. Um, even if you're smart, you could be at a disadvantage as well. Most people take advantage of smart people. But if you're smart, you won't let them take advantage of you. You will definitely not do that. So I'm really not into that far into this. So let's back up for a second. So I'm going to destroy this part here. All right, so what was I getting to? Oh yeah, whoops. Keep that there.